hanging out at Raiders Media Day. And look who's on the set. It's the new guy in town, Elandon Roberts, but you don't go by that. We got to call you Are we allowed to call you E-Rob?
Yeah, you go by
Or do we
E-Rob.
have to?
No, no, everybody call me E-Rob.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
E-Rob.
Everybody call me
E-Rob. So that's easy. That's easy to remember.
Yeah,
But
only my mother and my wife call me Landon.
okay, then we're
Oh,
not
all
going to
right.
cross that. We're
Yeah.
going to stay in the E-Rob territory. But welcome.
Amber's gonna try and slip in there though.
If it slip out, it's okay.
And I make up middle names too. So if I'm like Elandon, David, Robert, you know that I'm upset. I'm a mom, and I just put middle names in there sometimes. But welcome to Vegas. What are
Yeah.
your first impressions of the town and being in the silver and black? That's pretty cool.
Man, it's crazy. You know, today finally put it on for the first time. I was like, yeah, this I'm a hit. That black and silver hit. You know, and the city is amazing and stuff like that. You know, just like I said before, man, it's a lot of energy around the city as well. And then you add Pete to it, it even amplifies it and stuff like that. So but it's been a great time thus far.
I think we all get that little energy boost when Pete's around,
Yeah,
right?
most definitely.
Yeah, I think you're obviously been a pro, kind of knows how it goes, how the off season, how you go about it. But you're brought here because of your presence, both on field, off field, in the meeting rooms. How has that transition been so far?
I feel like it's been great. It's been great. You know, but at the same time too, my big thing was just learning my coaches, learning the organization, and at the same time learning my teammates and having them learn me and know who I am because it's easy to be a presence, but it's even harder to be a leader. And why I say that is because all our presence is felt, but at the same time, if you don't know me or you don't understand why I do the things that I do, then I'm just, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not really doing what I should be doing as a vet, an older guy, a guy that wants to win because, man, in this league, man, week to week injuries happen, things happen, and I just feel like I'll let my defense down if the guy next to me don't know or a new guy on the D line, new guy in the secondary don't understand how to communicate with me because I didn't take the time like this time of the year in training camp to make sure that he understands not just me as the football player but me off the field so that the communication can still roll to the elite peakness it need to be at.
Awesome.
When you're obviously brought here for a reason to be a leader, but how hard or how easy is it to continue to be that leader when it's your first year here?
I tell people all the time, man, I just said the other day, leadership is lonely because, everybody is not going to always.
You're not popular sometimes.
Yeah, just do what you feel like is right.
Yeah.
But I feel like when you have a consistent routine of how you go about things and, you just not one day in, one day out, and people see and how you are day to day, and then when that football field time comes, you showing from that standpoint. The ones that's kind of on the fence get to moving over and in the right direction and start to understand that it's no ill will to it. It's just, hey man, this what we need to do. This is where we need to be if we want to create the ultimate goal, and we all know what that is and stuff. So, and it's just like to my first point, you got to learn your teammates. You got to learn the people around you because the more you know them, not just as a football player, but as the person, the more they understand where you're coming from with things. I think it's even better with communication, because if I understand like how I can go about communicating with that person because I took the time to learn them,
Right.
it makes it even easier. I know what buttons to push and, how to go about certain conversations, it's always good. And then with them learning me, knowing it's not coming from a bad spot or just trying to embarrass them and stuff
Yeah.
like that. You know how it is in them locker rooms. So,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
When you look back at your career, 10 plus years in the NFL now, and you've had an opportunity to be coached by mostly defensive minded head coaches and some of the best. You had Bill Belichick. Didn't you have Brian Flores in Miami? Who else? Mike Tomlin. And now you have Pete Carroll. Who do you think influenced you the most out of that group? I mean, really blessed to have that kind of a leadership in your career.
I think they all influence me in their own way. You know, like it's like some things that I hear Pete say and do, and go about it in a certain way that's like wow, like okay, like I can put that in my own little. I take little nuggets away from them guys, and
Hmm.
I think it's been fun. And Brian Flores was the first one to give me my opportunity. I never go without saying like how influential he was on my career and how much he prepared me to be able to go without him. And when I say go without him, he was my position coach as well in New England all them years, so he was a part of my development with Bill. And then when I say give me my opportunity, I didn't my first defense led just on my own was in Miami. When I was in New England, Dante Hightower and Devin McCourty and Rob Nikovich and Son had a big influence, on that defense. And me, I was just blessed enough to be able to sponge all day,
Yeah.
characteristics and stuff like that. I sponged it all. So when it was time for me to take over my own defense, I knew how to go about it. And man, when I was in Miami, sometimes I call them guys still and be like, hey man, like how you would kind of maneuver this situation with trying to get the guys this and brought in, and it was all good and stuff like that. But it's a big hats off to Brian Flores because one thing about Bill Belichick, Mike T, Pete, they are uh, they're to a point that it's like they have years under their belts to where we understand them. But when it comes to Brian Flores, it was his first time and whatnot of being the head, and he still was mentoring me in that process of like understanding how to go about things from a leadership standpoint when you're expected a certain expectation week in and week out, and how you can't have bad weeks and this and that other. So, he was a big to this day, like he's real big when it comes down to my career.
Man, that leads me to, like, you're the middle linebacker,
Mhm.
and you get that information from the head coach or defensive coordinator. Now you have Patrick Graham. What is the process and how you're tying into the secondary and the line, like on game day? I understand practice,
Mhm.
practice, but you're in the middle of it. You get some situations that you guys are not familiar with, or something a little different. How do you tie in the back end to the front end? How do you do that on game day?
Man, it's kind of funny you ask that because, we in this OTA period right now. So when the first week, I was kind of handling communication, doing this, doing that. But then in that first week, I hadn't already went to the secondary like, hey, what you guys gonna be saying when this happens? And then I'm communicating with Max, and it's even though I'm communicating with Max, like I gotta understand my interior guys too,
Yeah,
because
they're the
sometimes
guys who keep those linemen
exactly.
off
So
you.
I'm trying to figure out okay how to kind of navigate it all, and it's just funny because like they speak a whole different lingo
Yeah,
than what them big guys speak.
right.
So you
Yeah,
kind of stuck in the middle of you saying one thing, and I'm telling the back end, hey, look, don't even pay attention to me. I'm talking to the D line. When I
yeah,
say this,
yeah.
don't worry about it. They
Right.
know what I'm talking about.
That's
And I'm telling the
awesome.
D line vice versa. When I say this, you don't worry about that because I'm talking to them.
You got to be
So yeah,
trilingual,
so
not
like,
bilingual.
Yeah.
You got to be
man, and it's
trilingual.
so crazy because we'll just be in the locker room, and before we go out to practice, like last week before we went out to practice, I'm telling them guys, hey, D line might be saying this, da da da. I would never tell you this. So if you hear this, you would never. I'm not talking to you, and because you got to just be an over communicator, and it's
Yeah.
kind of funny. It's kind of funny because I always related to my household,
Uh-huh.
and my wife would be like, we'll be talking about something or getting some plans together, and I didn't told her like 4 or 5 times, and then by the fifth time she's like, "Look, you not in that locker room. I don't have to. You don't have to tell me. I heard you the first time. You don't have to keep reminding me. I heard you the first. But it's just me now. I'm
Yeah,
wired that way,
yeah,
Yeah.
because
right.
I mean we gotta get. Just think, if you're in a marriage, it's only you. It's only two
Yeah,
people
only
need to
two,
be on the
right.
same page.
Yeah.
It's 11
You
of us.
got 10 other
It's
guys you're
11,
trying to direct.
exactly, and we all trying to make sure that we all know our one too. So it's
Right.
just like, man, but yeah, it's just funny, man, and
That's
like I
awesome.
said, it's just a part of it. And
Yeah.
to be honest with you, man, that's why I love that part of football. I love that part of leadership. I love that part of being a Mike linebacker
Uh-huh.
because it ain't easy, and
Right.
it is. You are the hub of communication and stuff like that. But I just feel like when that game on the line, put it on me. Like that's just how I feel. Even if I'm not making the play, it doesn't matter. But it's just like, you know, if that moment do present itself, that I know I'll be prepared, and I know my guys around me be prepared,
Yeah.
because I know where the communication came from and who set it up.
Right,
Stuff like
right.
that. So yeah, if communication messed up on Sunday, just say I was sitting. You know, I know it's gonna be Amber. She gonna be like, guys, I was
wasn't gonna say
sitting
nothing.
with
That's
E-Rob,
right.
Yeah.
and he
That's
wouldn't
right.
even let me call me Landon. I was sitting with him, and he said
Landon, David.
verbatim, if communication looked a little messed up, to blame him.
That's
So
right.
I'm gonna just sit back and make it easy. We're gonna blame 52 on
I'm
this.
gonna keep that clip. I won't even have to do the analysis. For
Right.
Raiders game day. We'll just keep that clip.
Play it over and over again. So if you've got to talk a certain way to the guys up front and another way to the guys in the back, this linebacker core is rebuilt with
Yeah.
you and Devin and a couple guys that are returning. How do you talk to the guys within your own unit?
Yeah, I think just being a linebacker,
Yeah.
man. It's like it's not just like I said, something could happen to me.
Yeah.
But I think that we are discussing stuff as a whole before I even run and tell the D line this or the line or the defensive back group this.
Yeah.
Like I come in, I'll be thinking about it. I might text JG, our linebacker coach, be like, "Hey, this is what I'm thinking." And then I might run it by PG, and then that's when I get to ripping and running around the locker room and saying how I'm gonna go about things and stuff like that and whatnot. Then once we get in the meeting, we talk about it as a whole, as a linebacker crew. So it's phases of it, but that phase gotta happen quick because we ain't got time to waste. We ain't got time to waste.
Yeah.
I've got two questions because I see you wearing that number 52, and you know everybody has somebody as they were a young boy looking up to. Was it Ray Lewis? Was it like where does the number 52 come from for you?
This is crazy. So when I got drafted to New England, I was 51.
Okay.
And Mayo had just retired, and I didn't want to
right.
be 51 because I never. I'm Elandon.
Yeah,
I'm not
right.
fit to step in and be the Mayo. Like
Yeah.
it's just not me. And I was just like, man, y'all give me 52, you know. And if
Just happened.
I was like, man, I want, man, put me up.
Your
And
own
let's
guy.
go 52.
Yeah.
You know.
It
And
looks good though. It's a cool number.
I thought they didn't hear me, you know. I didn't, because in New England, you know, especially 10 years ago, New England, it's like, you know, what would we give you?
Yeah,
you know?
right,
right.
And I literally came back to the locker room after rookie minicamp, and my number was changed to 52.
Oh,
And
it.
I was always 52 from there. And it was even crazy because we ended up getting David play for the Jets.
David Harris.
David Harris.
There you
Look
go.
at you, Amber. Man, look. I'm
Well,
trying to tell y'all,
Elandon.
don't- look, one thing,
Elandon.
do not. When it come down to history of the game, don't play with Amber like that. Yes, absolutely. Michigan guy.
okay.
Yep. David, he came over and he was 52 the whole time. And I'm not going to lie. I was like, I don't care how much money he tried to pay. Because I had just won a Super Bowl in it.
No,
So I'm just
yeah.
like,
You had a right to keep it.
Right.
You had a right.
you can't like.
Did he approach you though? Did
Nah,
come
he
to-
never did.
Really?
David never did because he said, man, he won a Super Bowl in it last year. He actually played a lot,
Yeah.
and he was just like, man, he ended up going to his, I think it's college or high school number 45.
Okay. Yeah.
Really
Yeah,
quickly,
yeah,
because we need to wrap up, but I know that you come from a military family, and I always have to ask because it really is a different character development. You see guys that come into the league, and guys are the biggest leaders often have that background. Did you know there's so many other guys on this team that have the military background?
Yeah, because I had got up in front of the team and talked about Memorial Day, the history behind it, and I kind of, you know, how it came about. And I had already knew that we have one
Malcolm
on the,
Coons is.
but I did not know Malcolm.
Oh, yeah.
That's news to me.
Yeah, I think
but I
I think
didn't-
his parents,
Yeah,
his
see,
dad.
Yeah, and I didn't kind of know how many guys until after the talk.
Yeah, Darian
and
Porter,
stuff
the new
like that.
rookie,
Yeah.
corner, hit him as well. And I think that's a great building block because sometimes
is.
when you have this discipline that you need to make it to a championship, if you've already been
And
to
then
the
Trey, a
mountaintop.
lieutenant.
Yeah.
Trey.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. So shout out to all the servicemen and
Yeah,
women
no, it's
and the
crazy.
parents that are raising kids like you.
Yeah.
But it's nice to get to know you, and we're
Sure.
gonna have a lot more fun this season with you. I can tell
Oh
already.
yeah, yeah.
I can tell already.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
thanks for being here and welcome to Vegas.
For sure. Same
right.
here.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
y'all having me.
Thank you, my man.